Stop. Sit. Good lad. Sit. My name's PC Hopley and I'm a dog handler based in the West Midlands. This is police dog 492 Stark. He's a 4-year-old cross German Shepherd Belgian Malinois. My relationship with Stark, I would say, is really quite special for no other reason than I spend more time with Stark here than anybody else. We work together, he lives at home with me. I know that he's got my back and I've certainly got his, so yeah, great relationship. We've worked together for about 2.5 years now. Yeah, Stark's a product of West Midlands Police breed scheme. We finished our initial course in April, went straight out onto the streets, and actually the very first job on the very first day was a stolen vehicle. It was a pursuit. Before I got there, they'd run off from the vehicle. So first time I ever got Stark out operationally, hooked him up, started searching, and within about 10 minutes had his first prisoner, found the car thief hiding in some dense undergrowth. Got off to a very good start, I was extremely proud of him. The 14th of November 2020, a shift just like many others that I'd done, night shift, booked on at 10 o'clock, went to a number of jobs throughout the evening and the early hours. Then I got a call to say there was intruders in some allotments at the back of a row of houses. So I went along with Stark with the intention of seeing if we could locate any of the males and see exactly what they were up to. So let Stark out. Probably 20 minutes or so into the search, I'd got to the point where I was thinking they were more than likely long gone. All of a sudden, I saw Stark's head went up. He'd obviously got the scent of somebody. He went off, found the male. The next thing, the male runs off and I can hear Stark chasing them. Tell them to stand still, start running towards where they are. And as I'm running towards them, I can see, it was really dark, but I could see in the distance, and initially I thought it was a stick, and I could see the guy that he'd found just repeatedly hitting Stark around the head. It even sounded like a stick. It turned out, as I got closer, it was actually, what I could hear was the wooden handle of a machete, and I could hear the handle every time he hit Stark. At that point, I knew he must have been injured, but I wasn't really in a position to call the dog back. Had I have done that, he may have turned round and then exposed the back of himself to the lad with the machete. So I just gave Stark encouragement. Not that he needed it, to be fair. I mean, at no point he never came back. He was always focused on task, just trying to detain this male. He must have hit him at least 20 times. Obviously, I've then joined him and realised that it is the machete. I've then managed to spray him with incapacitant. Literally just that second of hesitation meant that Stark was immediately able to detain him. So he detained the male and we took him to the ground, called my colleagues in as a matter of urgency. I looked down and I could see that I had blood on my hands. Once my colleagues had joined me, he was handcuffed and taken away and I was able to look. And he nearly lost his right eye. He had a big, deep cut. It was probably about 5 millimetres or something from his eye. He'd got probably about another 7 or 8 cuts, of less severity. And then on the left side again, there was another deep cut on the side of his mouth. You could see that he was quite nastily injured, so we blue lighted him across the PDSA. It was probably about 2 or 3 miles away. We knew that they were a 24-hour vets. They sedated him and immediately operated on him, did some scans to make sure that there was no internal injuries, and then stitched him back together. Fortunately, he was able to go home with me that same morning. So we took him home and he started his recovery. I mean, it made me feel probably how lucky we were, I would say. It could have been so much worse. I mean, as it was, the injuries were pretty severe. But when I think about it, if I'd stumbled across the guy before Stark did, I dread to think what may have happened to me. But fortunately, Stark, he did his job, he found the guy and did exactly what I would want him to do. You know, he most definitely had my back. It took him approximately 5 to 6 weeks, I think, to fully recover to the point where he could go back to work. So we went back operational just before Christmas, and the very first night that we were back on shift, again it happened to be a night shift, and traffic had an offender run off from the vehicle. He'd gone to ground, so very similar circumstances, pitch black. One of our first jobs, let the dog off the lead, went searched some back gardens, again straight onto task, and he actually located the male. I still do have it in the back of my mind that after what happened, you're very aware of the fact that you're out there, not so much by yourself, because obviously I've got Stark, but as a team, and that things can go wrong very, very quickly as they did that night. So I've always got that in the back of my mind, but at least, you know, I've got confidence that Stark's there. He'll look after me. Stark's special. Special relationship, especially after what we went through, I think, on that night. I mean, any dog handler will tell you that the relationship with their dogs is special, but I think with what happened, that bond is just a little bit closer, a little bit more special. It's an honour to be given the Thin Blue Paw Outstanding Bravery Award, and particularly humbling actually that I was nominated by a number of people that have never met me. They've never met Stark, you know, they've read about his story, and that alone was enough for them to nominate me. So the fact that people have gone out of the way, given up their own time to put that nomination in, just makes it just that little bit more special, I would think.